What was your involvement in the appointment of Lord Green? Did you know about his links with HSBC Suisse and these allegations of tax avoidance and evasion that are now coming out 5 years later?
Well, I think Stephen Green was a very effective trade minister, and look, I make it an absolute cardinal rule as Chancellor, as indeed previous Chancellors have, not to get involved in or know the details of any individual or any individual company's tax affairs. And I think if you think through the consequences of someone in my job actually knowing the tax affairs of you or this company, I think we would be heading down a very slippery slope in Britain. So I don't do that. My predecessors don't do that. I think it's a very important constitutional principle in Britain.
Do you regret that, though, given how much of a fuss now is happening around HSBC and these kind of tax affairs? You know, would you rather, in retrospect, have known, you know, more about that and said, listen, that's a bit kind of worrying, we can't get involved?
Well, as I say, my responsibility is to set the tax laws of the country, and I've taken more steps than any previous Chancellor to make sure we tackle aggressive tax planning, that we deal with tax evasion, that we get money indeed from Swiss bank accounts. I'm also responsible for making sure that HMRC, our revenue collection service, has the resources to go after people who are evading their taxes, and they are doing that. They've got those resources and they're collecting more money on behalf of everyone else who pays their taxes. As I say, I don't think it's right for a Chancellor Exchequer to get involved in the tax affairs of an individual. I think when you think through the consequences of that, you realise what a disaster that would be for our country. So I don't do that. My responsibility is to the British taxpayer in general to make sure we have a good tax system and that everyone's paying their fair share.
We've just heard from Lord Fink. He's given an interview in which he's essentially admitted to what he calls vanilla tax avoidance. He was a former Treasurer of the Conservative Party. That surely looks extremely embarrassing that one of your own, as key member of your party, has admitted and said basically everyone is avoiding tax.
Well, Ed Miliband might blunder in and make accusations about individuals and claim to know about their tax affairs. As the Chancellor Exchequer, I take a different approach, which is I don't comment on the tax affairs of individuals. I never have, and I don't intend to start now. My responsibility is to make sure that aggressive tax planning is thwarted, and we are very successful now at doing that in a way that wasn't the case under the last government. And of course my responsibility is to make sure those who evade their taxes are pursued and hunted down and made to pay up, and again we've had success in doing that. So those are my responsibilities, and those are ultimately what the country as a whole is interested in. Are people paying their fair share? Are we collecting the taxes we need, and are we investing in our economy in the future so that we are able to afford our great public services?
But it's just slightly undermining. It's a key member of your party saying everyone is doing it. Even generally speaking, it's not about an individual, it's saying generally everyone's up to this.
Well, we're very clear that we don't approve of aggressive tax planning and aggressive tax avoidance, that we will take steps to stop it happening, and we have and will continue to do so. We are also clear that tax evasion is illegal, and because it's illegal, we will pursue you. Together, the efforts of myself and HMRC mean that up to £85 billion of taxes have either been collected or protected. And of course, we do this because we want a strong economy where, in general, taxes can be as low as possible, whilst at the same time funding vital things like the health service and our education system. I make a broader point, of course, none of this is sustainable without a long-term economic plan that has a growing economy and successful businesses like the business here, Siemens in Lincoln, that we're visiting today.